So here I'm going to be describing and showing off some of the features of the Repl. First thing you can do is you can see there are two buttons added. This is a experimental UI that we're developing, and this is the main Repl. So for the Repl, there is the output area for the Repl, there is the input area, there's the completion area, and then there is the editor and also the file name input area. So as you can see, the completion area responds to whatever you are currently messing with, except it doesn't respond to this, and gives you some potential completions based on the current context of what you're doing. So you can, this is the input area for the Repl. I can type in 1 and I see the result is 1. For Lua, there's a little bit of a quirk where you can't just enter a value on itself on a line, and I could fix that in a variety of ways. I've chosen to not focus on fixing that. So one way you can get around that is I've added the ability to add the equal sign at the beginning of a line. So if you want to enter a value all by itself, you can say equals and then 1 or whatever the value is. To use the IntelliSense, you just type things in, and the completion area will respond to what you're typing. It works with the basic Lua objects, and it also works with objects defined in .NET. So we can register classes with the Lua engine, and one of the classes I registered is one I made. It stores all these variables inside of it, these properties, and some of these aren't really useful, like constructor. But one important one that I added was flight globals. And you can get the active vessel, which is the vessel that I'm currently flying. And we can set it a new variable equal to that active vessel. And now, since that is set, we can look inside the active vessel, and I have, to switch to the completion area, I have hit Control P, and I navigate around with Control comma, Control period, Control K, and Control L. And I can get back to the input area of the Repl by either submitting the result I want with Control return, or I can hit Control I or Control O. So we've selected the possible completion vessel check splashed. So because of a quirk of Lua, you have to put an equal sign at the beginning. Oh, it's a function. Okay, so we'll use the history. We'll look back in history with Control left bracket, and we'll input this as a function. And it is not splashed. It's not in the water. It's not crashed in the water. So we can also switch to the editor with Control U. We can switch to the file name area, and we can load a file. And I'll complete it and hit Control D to load the file. And this is a program I made in Lua that uses the most basic feature of the autopilot, the raw control, to stop the craft from moving when it is spinning around. So I'll spin the craft around, and I can select the editor again and evaluate what's in the editor. And this works to slow the craft down. So there are lots of quirks in this. This is a work in progress. Sometimes IntelliSense doesn't work properly. It's not registering right there. It's registering after a function call. But there's also a lot more features we can add to the IntelliSense. We could add the ability to show the signature of C# objects, but I haven't implemented that yet.